don't know. I think DJ's pulling the wool over our eyes here. What? Speaking of that, this is something that's kind of interesting. I went to a restaurant and I actually had wild boar. There somehow in Texas, John. Actually, this is a good thing for you to Google. Is it legal to? I mean, it obviously is, but I'm just like I wonder how prevalent this market is because I was able to purchase wild boar in a restaurant in Oregon. So I mean, obviously those crazy fucks down there figured out a way to like. There's like professional hunters who are just out sniping hogs and like selling the meat. Do you know anything about that?
Listen, I know about hundreds of people that like down in Florida, because you get people that don't hunt, but they like the rewards of people that go out and go do it. So I've had people, even when I was in high school, they'd offer, you go out, you kill a hog, I'll give you $100-$200 for it. All you gotta do is kill it, bring it to me. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? And then you have some stores or some restaurants who will buy them and they'll purchase the meat by the pound. Because to them, it's 100%, wild, 100% organic. There's none of that extra stuff that comes into some of the cattle that they may get, some of the poultry products that they may get. And for some, it's a delicacy down south. Like, I miss it, growing up down in Florida. I would always love on Sundays how if somebody went out and got a hog either the week before or the day before, we'd roast it. We'd take it, skin it, throw it on the grill, barbecue sauce on it, and everybody would come over. We'd have some food and come back and do it again in a week or two if we caught some again or we shot some again. It's always like, it always depends on where you're at and who actually wants it. We would always eat the wild hogs that we had, but we know some people would just shoot them and they'd let them lay there and die and just waste meat because they're just an invasive species and they don't want to spend the time, to clean them. They don't want to spend the time to have somebody, process them. So they just shoot them and let them lay right there where they're at. And then you'll have things like the coyotes and buzzards and other animals that will come out and they'll come take care of whatever is left over, all the way down to the ants dragging pieces out and calling them home.
Oh, yeah.
And bacteria and everything else. So that is one aspect of how it goes for invasive species when it comes to hogs.
We got to talk about the other one, pythons. Do you have any homies that go out and catch pythons? Because there's a law. John, Google that. Actually, no, don't. I know I'm right here. There's a law that if you find a python, you have to terminate it. That's how bad it is. And I fucking hate snakes, by the way. I'm terrified of them. So, but I think that there's a scientist that also said that you can eat these things. I don't know if I can do that, but I just wonder, do you have any, is any of your family member catching pythons for that cash money?
First off, I want you to look at me and then ask me that question one more time. Look at me and ask me that question one more time. And I think you're going to do the answer.
DJ, is there any of your family that is catching pythons?
No.
Thank
the only
God.
way they'll catch them is if they're buying them at the market to go on their feet for under $200. That's about it. There's no way pythons they're trying to catch.
No way, man.
I know the Florida Wildlife Commission a few years ago, they started paying people to catch pythons. And I thought that was one of the dumbest things they could have ever did in their entire lives, because you have some pythons who are out in the Everglades and down in South Florida, Central Florida, where I remember being in 6th grade, right? Like, I'm in 6th grade. This is 2006. I'm damn near 40, but this is in 2006, right? And this was when the picture went viral of where the python had swallowed an over 6-foot alligator and ingested it, and it busted open because it could not ingest that alligator fully. And not even 10 years later, they're trying to pay people to go out and hunt for anacondas.
Fucking
and you
pythons.
got every redneck whose name is Jim Tom or Billy Bob with one front tooth. And I was going to make another reference, but I'm going to keep that to myself. Overalls and tobacco in their lip. And they are out there in airboats looking like an episode of Swamp People, shining for these pythons to catch them. And to me, it's like I have to ask myself, if I'm ever down that bad that I got to go out there and try and catch a goddamn python, I'm gonna walk my ass down to the county office. I'm gonna sign up for some services. Like listen, I don't need it. I don't need it that bad. I promise you, there's nothing that's gonna make me get out in the Everglades or go look for a python. And I'm not knocking anybody that does it. You know, some people may see me deer hunting and they're like, wow, if I just needed meat, I may go to the store if I'm ever down that bad. You know, to each their own. I get it. But I tell you what, it's a lot safer for me to go and kill a deer than it is to have somebody out looking for pythons.
Dude,
because, you know, pressure and bite force per square inch, they are one of the most dangerous animals you could ever encounter, depending on its size length, to encounter and have it be aggressive and like hurt you. I watched a video not too long ago where this python had to have been a couple feet long, and it was fully wrapped around a fully grown billy goat, right? Like, had it wrapped up, like, down for the count, and a guy came up behind it, or a girl, whoever it was, and it shot it with it's Glock or whatever it was a pistol, and that thing unwrapped, and I was like, there is no way you would ever like catch me out there trying to find one of them. There's why?
Yeah. What's up, John?
So I found some information about this. It's called the Florida Python Challenge, and it's they're paying people. Where is it? They're paying people hourly. Like, there's some places paying hourly, like $13 an hour, but they're paying $50 for the first 4 feet of any python and $25 for every additional foot.
I couldn't do it.
That's a sick deal, though. To die fighting an anaconda, it doesn't pay badly, at least.
Pythons. There's no anaconda. Yeah. I don't think there's anacondas in the state of Florida. God forbid. But here's the thing.
They probably are there.
Oh, they probably are.
In the wild, they're probably not as prevalent, but they're probably there.
So I watched a video like years ago, and I can't believe I'm admitting to this, but it was a video of these guys. They're like bass fishermen in Florida, and there was this other guy with them, and they're fishing out of little canals, and somehow they saw the snake and like it slithered into this little tunnel where there's like a manhole. And this little dude crawls down into the hole, and he catches a snake and he pulls it up, and it's fucking massive. And I wish I could find this video. And everyone's screaming. I'm screaming, and they're like, "What are you gonna do with this fish?" He's like, "I have this where I learned about this law." He's like, "We have to kill it." And they're like, "Okay, then what?" He's like, "I'm gonna eat it." And I was like, "What?" So I watched this guy clean this snake, and it's still fucking moving after it's dead. Like, and this is a I am screaming. Yeah, I am screaming the entire time. Oh fuck, no.
So you're gonna go kill everything, but you can't watch somebody clean a snake.
I can't. I hate snakes. I don't know where. Actually, I do. I can tell you Jones. I can tell you the origin story for my fear of snakes. It was actually in Corvallis in college. I was walking with my girlfriend at the time up Bald Hill. We're on a nice hike, and I saw a huge snake. And I jumped and I said, "Fucking snake," and I just left her. I ran. Okay, so not my proudest moment, folks. And I was so obsessed by like, oh, this is a big snake. I mean, it was maybe like, I don't know, like,
it was a gardener snake,
18 inches, 2 feet. It was big. No, it wasn't a garter snake. So I went down to the biology department. I went to like this dude that studies snakes. I was like, "What the fuck was this?" "Oh, that must have been a gopher snake. Where did you see it?" And I was like, "Okay, so there's big gopher snakes in the state. Well, that sucks." And I think what really freaked me out was the fact that I'm expecting to see, a garter snake, something that's not that big. But this, and it was bigger than I thought it was, and it just freaked me out. And I've been the same since. I don't know what. It doesn't make any sense. I hate him. So I have a irrational fear of snakes. I don't know why. I mean, I do.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, I don't like snakes because depending on where you're at geographically in the world, I grew up in Northeast Florida. So we had poisonous snakes. We had non-poisonous snakes.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle always told me the best snake is a dead snake.
You're
and
right.
we practice that religiously in our family. So for me, the snake that I probably encountered the most were water moccasins.
Oh, fuck that, dude. No.
So they were the ones that are I'll say they're one of the more sneakiest ones because of how they catch their food. They're a little bit more tactical than some of the other snakes.
Oh,
like
God.
Rattlesnakes and stuff like that. They use their skin and stuff like that to blend in and that type of stealthy. Like these water moccasins are aggressive. There's been times where I've been fishing and somebody's pulled up a stringer and we've had 4 almost 5 foot water moccasin hanging on one of the fish.
No, dude, no, absolutely not. I'm freaking out right now.
I've had times where there's this one little canal that's right by our house, where I grew up at, my great grandma's house, the last house she lived in before she had passed away back in 2010. We had this place called the Pipe, and the Pipe was like this big. It was like this big drainage ditch. It was maybe about 11 to 12 foot wide, and sometimes when we'd have hurricanes and stuff like that would come through, it would always be rushing or running with water. Other than that, it wasn't a lot of water. So it's almost like you're looking at the side of a cliff, right? Like a cliff like out in California where like the bank is like a gray type of color, right?
Yeah.
And then you start looking and you'll see these little holes inside of the banks.
Oh. How many?
And those holes.
How many holes do you think?
Oh gosh, like at least maybe 15 or 20.
Oh Jesus Christ! Okay.
At least like 15 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, at the longest time, I kind of thought that was just like stuff from, like some kind of rodent or something like that. Mom's like, no, son, it's like the moccasin holes right there. Like, make no mistakes, make no doubt about it. That's what those are. But in some cases, I'll say I've encountered less aggressive water moccasins before where they'll see you and they'll get the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, good.
But I've also saw some that even if John would look at a picture, they have almost like, depending on the size, maybe close to an inch or an inch and a half, like this white little tube in the bottom of their throat. Not bottom of their throat.
John, pull this shit up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what they use to inject their venom and stuff like that into people.
What?
And there's been times where we've been walking into a tree stand that's by a creek or at a river, and that white part is the only part that you can see on the ground. It's just that little circle.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had my fair share of encounters with them, like the rattle.
Looking. I think you can kind of see it there, right in the middle.
Can you see that, DJ?
No, not now. I can't see it. The screen's not sharing, but I've seen them in person.
I can see your screen. DJ, are you on a phone? How are you doing this?
Yep.
Oh, sick. Oh, you can't see this picture?
I saw it when he did it earlier. I can't see this one.
Oh, weird. I can see it, John. Yeah, folks, we're looking at the spawn of fucking Satan right now, which is a water moccasin.
We had cottonmouth. I agree, in Alabama, yeah, they called them cottonmouths too. We had
this is disgusting.
Growing up,
How did we get here? I hate snakes. So I feel like such a bitch too, because like I really am freaking out.
You're
right
like
now.
Indiana Jones,
I can't.
dude.
Yeah, and it's gotten worse. Like I really do think it's irrational. Well, I mean, this is obviously
You've never like held a python like a petting zoo or something.
Yes,
really?
I did when I was little, and I hated it. And
really,
and I just even the talking about it. Like I can't. This is fucking disgusting.
I don't mind. Snakes are fine.
Fuck you, John. They're not. No. They're not. Dude, and that's another thing. If back before I met my girlfriend, there was a kind of a hot chick that she had a snake, and I was like, fuck that. Like anyone that has pet snakes, fuck you. That's a hot take right there. You're disgusting. Why would you? That
to our many viewers who have snakes, we love you.
Yeah, no, we do not. We do not. No, I don't know why you would ever have a snake. It doesn't care about you. It would eat you in a second. No way. And I literally don't know if that's the case, but that feels right to say that. So I'm gonna say it. Sorry, DJ. Enough of my tirade.
Honestly, it is true, because if you think about it, it's like, to me, it bothers me when I see people who have these wild, like bigger, larger animals they call as pets.
Yeah.
And you can get just about anywhere you can on the internet. You can look at videos of people having these snakes that turn on them, having pet wolves that turn on them, bear that turn on them, lions, like all these other species. And to me, it's like, when will people learn that like some of these animals aren't meant to be tamed? And if you tame them, sooner or later it's going to run off. Like,
okay,
their instincts will kick in, and you're in a pile of shit.